Yeah, this is fair use, Act of 1976. Fair use of criticism, educational, and scholarship. I am not making any money from this. Fair use, fair use. Yeah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai. I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha HaKodash. I'd like to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds preaching in truth and in sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect. The elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom. To you sisters, your chwatim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Aram Yehowadah with the lesson.
These micro needle patches can install literal quantum dot QR codes. QR codes that can be read with AI with specialized cameras and decoded to store batch information, lot number, how many doses you received. There you go. They put it on the pig. That's what it looks like. It's a literal QR code. You will be marked. This lasts, again, for years, perhaps permanently. And this will be used as a biological passport system where you won't use your phone. You won't use the QR code on your phone to enter the store and travel. You will use your wrist where this material is embedded in your body. And so this is very dangerous. And this even earned a spot at the 2025 Global Vaccine Forum, where they had their own session on these micro needle patch implants. So this is planned for wide-scale deployment for another pandemic. It's going to be the next mRNA platform that they try and roll out at a wide scale. So first in 2019, Gates funded a study for the original development of these quantum dot implants. So it's a micro needle patch array. So it's got a bunch of mini needles. It's like a Band-Aid. You put it on your wrist, it dissolves, and it installs these quantum dot materials that last for at least 5 years. So they developed that in 2019. Now in 2025, Gates funded another study that shows just how advanced now this technology has become. It is advancing at a very fast pace. Now these micro needle patches can install literal quantum dot QR codes. QR codes that can be read with AI with specialized cameras and decoded to store batch information, lot number, how many doses you received. There you go. They put it on the pig. That's what it looks like. It's a literal QR code. You will be marked. This lasts, again, for years, perhaps permanently. And this will be used as a biological passport system where you won't use your phone. You won't use the QR code on your phone to enter the store and travel. You will use your wrist where this material is embedded in your body. And so this is very dangerous. And this even earned a spot at the 2025 Global Vaccine Forum, where they had their own session on these micro needle patch implants. So this is planned for wide-scale deployment for another pandemic. It's going to be the next mRNA.
Yeah, so this is Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. And he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead. So you may be looking at that new new development and go, aha, see, GMS thought they had it right. Look at that. See, that's something totally different. So now you're going to say this is the mark of the beast. Well, yeah, it is. It's the mark of the beast too. But it doesn't negate that the grain of rice is the mark of the beast too, right? It doesn't negate that, because this this falls under the same criteria, right? Did you hear what the guy was saying? It's going to leave a QR code within your skin, right? So when you go into the word mark, first word you go into is what? Charagma.
Strong's G 5480. Charagma. Charagma.
Yeah, charagma, right? Yeah, so charagma, a stamp or imprinted mark of the mark stamped upon the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the Antichrist. But really, there's the Lord even himself said there were many Antichrists, so there's not just one. Not to mention that the Antichrist is the system, right? It's more than one Antichrist, but it tells you in was the Wisdom of Solomon 2 that the law is their strength, right? So they place it within the law, within their system, right? And AI is going to play a big part in the judicial system, which is ultimately going to be a draconial law system, right? They're going to say comply or die type of system, right? Right. It's going to be very direct. There's no no voting, no this or that. You know what I'm saying? That's why even Trump was already talking about getting rid of tax, because I think it's talking about if you tax, was it taxation? No taxation without representation or something like that, they say, I believe. So in order to tax somebody, you have to have a representation. If you taxing me, I need to have a representation saying, hey, well, this guy is a tax-paying citizen, right? Which is why I believe that he wants to move that out, and then just everything costs. So they'll find a way to just get everything out of you anyway. You know what I mean? They'll just give you your universal basic income. It'll only be roughly about $2,000, maybe $2,500, something like that. And basically your daily everything is going to cost you. You want water, you want just basic necessities, right? Every little thing is going to cost. You can see it now with all these apps, right? Every app costs you. And that's like the thing. So, but it says I'm just going to skip to the point because you kind of go a long way. And it says the mark branded upon horses, right? Horses being what? Cattle, right? Cattle meaning what? Ownership, right? So it's deriving of a ownership. The carving, the thing carved, sculptured, graven work, right? So when they're pushing that thing inside you and leaving the QR code, that's a graven work, right? Of idolatry, of idolatrous idolatrous image. See, and it's going to leave that QR code, what image within you, right? So then you got go a little bit further because it's called a root word, and then when you go to a root word, you go a little deeper, and then as you can see that little thing, it had spikes on it, right? And this is what
Strong's G 5482. Charax. Charax.
Karax, yeah, Karax, and it says what form Caraxo from Caraxo, so it's come from it's Carax or Caraxo, however you want to say it, to sharpen to a point. So right on that little thing that was it? I think it said Elon Musk wanted to create. Well, the video I just showed you, I kind of forgot the video all the way. I just remember the part, and the things had a bunch of sharp points on it, and they're talking about basically smashing it within your arm, right hand, left hand, right? So don't get simple, right? Because in Revelations 14:9, it said hand. It says hand. Put the mark on your hand. So that's the charagma, the karax, right? The needle, the pointed part going into your hand or your arm, your wrist, whatever you want to say, right? And he said that they're gonna take it from your QR code being in your phone to being upon your body, right? And it says a pail, a stake, something sharpened. So when they push it in, it's a sharp going right into your skin. A palisade, a rampart, right? Pales between which earth, stone, trees, and timber are heaped, right? And that thing, if you look at it, those things were heaped together. Little sharp points all together, going into your skin, imprinting the QR code upon your skin. Which the more popular thing is going to be the grain of rice, right? Even Apostle Har is saying that. Like, there's a lot of thing with the Elon Musk, the brain chip, which even China has their own brain interface, and basically China is light years ahead of what America's doing. Their thing works way better, safer. Like, that's the reason why, though, I believe that's the whole point of John seeing America and seeing the grievous sores. It's going to be it's a different judgment when it comes to America, because they're not as efficient as China, and then not to mention the rush job that they have to do to try to catch up, to just push this, because basically the Lord's on his way, right? The prophecies are happening, right? Packed together, yeah. Literally, those things were packed together. Those sharp parts, sharp right next, really bumped up close to each other, but it all leaves what well, let's go to the next one right here. Let's go deeper, a little deeper, right? It's a what?
Strong's G 1125. Grapho.
Yeah, it leaves what? A grapho to write, right? Is that not what it said? It's gonna press into your skin. It's gonna leave a QR code, and it'll be there for 5 years. But now, during 2025, which was last year, they've improved it. So the dude said it could be there for a little or forever, right? This would be, and he said you're gonna put away the phones. You won't have the phones, and you will be what? Marked, which was what? Charagma, Karax, what? Grapho, to write with referring to the form of what? Of letters. So is that not what a QR code does? When you scan it, they have a thing scanned, and it has what these certain letters, things that tells it to read what's within the QR code to pop up what is necessary to gain access to wherever a building or grocery store or whatever place that you're going into, your fax machine at your work or your job or your car, right? Your phone, right? These things are speeding up, right? So but the grain of rice is the more popular and more. I believe it's going to be more of the grain of rice that's going to be, what do you call it? When it's just accessible, I said it'd be the one that's more accessible. I said it that way. The more accessible one will be the grain of rice, right? But if this thing works the way they're drumming it up or dreaming it up or whatever you want to say, this definitely falls under this line of charagma, charax, and grapho, right? It says what is it? Or a form of letters on a tablet, right? Because when they scan it, they're gonna scan it and say I'm whatever, some officer or whatever, this person, and I scan your hand. Most likely, I'm not gonna have a big ass freaking 1980 something big ass computer or something. No, you're not even gonna have a regular computer these days, like a computer. Because remember later on, computers started getting small. Computers started getting flat screens and this, but even that's too big now. Now you just have a tablet. So QR code you, the thing pops up on the tablet. Yes, sir. You can enter into the party. You can enter it because more likely they'll introduce it that way first, right? Remember they were doing that back in the 90s, right? If you wanted to be VIP, you automatically get in the club and you automatically jump in the line. If you had the micro C hip, you're automatically VIP. They figured that would be a way to get young stupidos, to think, oh cool, oh I want to be VIP. Let me get that. You make it like a cool thing, and that's one way how you get people to think, because you feel like you're left out, and I believe that's why a lot of Jake is really into kissing the Edomites' ass, man, because they feel left out. That's why the whole thing with this whole thing when they were going into white diners and sitting there getting bashed in the head, and they saying you should serve me, you felt left out. But like, what was it? Muhammad Ali said, there's plenty of black-owned diners where I could eat, and most likely it's better food. Think of how far we went, and food is worse than it's ever been. You go get some bland-ass potato salad at Fry's or Kroger's or wherever you live at. You know what I mean? If that would have been a black grocery store with some potato salad or what's the thing called, macaroni salad, you know how much flavor it would have. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. I mean, we gave up a lot just because you felt out, but that's a good way to reel people in. I want to be part of the cool kids. They're cool. They're on the. But yeah, you scan it and it's gonna pop up on the tablet, right? All the words. Like I said, they squeezed it. And the words and the what is it called? The image is in there, right? On your skin, and it'll read it. Scan it. It'll read it. Pop up on the tablet. Parchment paper. Right, something that just saying, just let you know something that to be written down. or another material. See, and that thing in itself is another sort of a material, just like the grain of rice is of a different material that's gonna go subdermal under your skin, which that's what they're saying. That's gonna get pushed down, and it's not gonna be the top layer. It'll be the second or third layer of your skin. So it'll be in your skin, and then your skin becomes what is that thing where it'll mimic the pattern. It'll basically stay there, right? But this if it works, it definitely lines up with this. You know what I mean? Parchment paper or another material to write with reference or reference to with reference to contents of the writing, right? To express in writing characters, right? And that's what that QR code. All QR codes basically have. It looks stupid. It looks like some little thing or like a maze, or it looks like something, but those things actually have characters that's recognizable characters when it's scanned, and it pops up with information, right? And it says to commit to writing things not to be forgotten, written down records, and that's what pops up. The records, everything that needs to be known about what that QR code says, it's gonna pop it up. It's gonna bounce off now they have the data centers, and the data centers are going to bounce back the information in less than a fraction of a second, right? Because the QR code or the grain of rice, it's a small data, but it's just the right data to get everything started, right? First name, last name, your social security, right? And ultimately their number, right? The number of the beast, right? It says and keep continuing on, Revelations 13 and 17, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, right? Which you already went into mark. Mark was what? Charagma, right? Which denounce or announce, should I say, announce ownership, right? Well, that's what you should be doing, denouncing it, but a lot of people are going to get it. So it's going to announce ownership through a pointed instrument, right? Whether it's a needle or such a thing as what you've seen. Matter of fact, let me get that one where it shows you that the needle is also represent that sharpen to a point, right? Which is ultimately what the delivery system, right? And then grapho was what the writings, which would give it that little bit of information to bounce off the satellites onto the what is it called, to the data centers, or to the data centers to the satellites, or to wherever they got, if they got underground wires, whatever they got, right? And it may bounce and send a signal to a what you call it, like a drone. This citizen is acting irrational, out of control, whatever. It'll send a drone, send a robot to come and arrest you or kill you or whatever on the live. Should I say? Whatever it is that they have it to do, right? Or you just get in. Okay, this citizen has the right credentials or whatever to get into the store and buy what they need, right? Because they had a thing, no shot, right? No jump shot, no shopping, right? So now it's no Karagma, no Karax, no Graffle, no shopping, right? You should not be able to buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name, right? See, of the beast or the number of his name, right?
Just implanted microchips into people's hands, turning humans into walking wallets. No cash, no cards, no wallets. Thousands of people in Sweden have taken a bold step into the future by implanting tiny microchips under their skin. About the size of a grain of rice, these chips act as digital IDs, payment methods, and access cards, all in one, from letting them pay for coffee, unlock doors, or ride trains with just a swipe of their hand. It works.
Yeah, so Revelation chapter 13, verse 18, here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number, right? Because it said the number of his name. So then you got to count the number of the beast, right? For it is the number of man, right? Talking about his number. And his number is 603 score and 6, which right here they're showing you what it is, 666, right? So that name or that number or the number of his name, right? You have his name or the number of his name, right? Which is 666. See right here, which is 603 score and 6, which is 666. Let's go into that understanding.
Strong's G 5516. Chi, Psi, Stigma.
Right?
Chi, Psi, Stigma.
Chi, Psi, Stigma, right? That's the name or the number of his name used as numbers, right? And that number, what? 603 score and 6. Chi or Stigma, Chi, Psi, Stigma. See if I'm trying to. It's not really showing. Yeah, 600. Three score, right, which is 60 and 6, right? Let's see. Gotta have a root because it's not really showing me much. Oh, let's go right here to the root. Okay, and mostly just going to Stigma.
Strong's G 4742.
Okay,
Stigma.
see,
Stigma.
which shows you it's going to be that grain of rice or even that QR code that's going to basically make it with it's still will be even the QR code is subdermally under your skin. So don't think, oh well, that's something different. It's not the mark of, well, that's also the mark of the beast. If they get it to work the way they want it to work, where it also becomes a digital dollar or digital wallet, right? Which basically is what they were saying. But I think the more common one would be the grain of rice, right? It says a mark pricked in or branded upon what? The body. And that QR code is basically a branding. The micro C hip is a branding. It's branding, and it's stating that you're branded and you're owned by the elite. That your God is this world, right? The God of this world, which is Esau Edom, right? Self-proclaimed so-called white man is your God. That's ultimately what you're saying, right? Satan, which is the spiritual demon Satan, is their God, right? it says upon the body to ancient Oriental usage slaves and soldiers, which I believe they're gonna mark the soldiers first. Most like, well, there's been soldiers that already say they got the microchip. There's been plenty. There's a lot of soldiers that said they've already been subdermally implanted with the grain of rice, right? And but they're gonna be able to. They're gonna have to do the whole thing. All six branches of the military, which goes into that. Wait, let's go back to it.
Strong's G 5516. Chi, Psi, Stigma.
Right.
Chi, Psi, Stigma.
Yeah, because they have 6 branches of military, which is how they're gonna perform and to push their power throughout the world, right? You know, and then basically go digital, showing you can't buy and sell. Because guess what? If it was still regular dollars, you could sneak $1 in and say, "Hey, here," you know, like you see in the movies, when the guy or the police officer or whoever goes around and they're looking for information for somebody that was around and they wanted to know, but then the people are being, we don't snitch on our kind. This the hood. We don't do no snitching. We can't tell you that. Then the dude pulls out a crispy ass 100, and all of a sudden the hood code went out the window, so you can get it. So they can slip you 100, right? Right. You'll be able to do that. Same thing like that. If somebody was able to pay someone wealthy enough and pay them under the table, but there ain't gonna be any of that. That's why they keep talking about this transparency, right? Because everything is going to be monitored, marked, trace, monitor, marked, trace, right? So Chi, Psi, one more time.
Strong's G 5516. Chi, Psi, Stigma. Chi, Psi, Stigma.
Yeah, con. So, yeah, with all that, I'm going to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakaha Kodash. I'd like to give double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the 4 ones preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and has come back to the fold. Shalom. To you sisters, you Chwatim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence, and above all, Kwam Yasharallah.